As the sun rose in the morning of May 25, 2009, the news of the death of Dr. Tajudeen Abdul-Raheem shocked people across the globe.
I received a phone call at 3:30 in the morning.
Taju, as many called him, was driving to Jomo Kenyatta International Airport to catch a flight to Kigali, Rwanda, when he was involved in an accident at around 1 a.m.
And to get this phone call at 3:30 in the morning and to anticipate that the guy is just sick and we were going to go to hospital and get him out, and then to find out that he was actually at the funeral home.
It was confirmed that he got an accident on Mombasa Road, and we had me and Irungu and a couple of other guys, I can't remember their names, had to be called to go to Lee funeral and confirm, make a confirmation that surely it was him.
The early morning email and SMSs sent to many across the globe left most of them stunned.
For us here in the office, we used all the means possible to relay, first of all, the information to members of his immediate family in Nigeria. That was through a telephone call. And for the rest of the campaigners with whom we work in Africa, we did an email.
It said that he has been killed in a car accident last night.
Outside the Lee funeral home in Nairobi, his colleagues and friends gathered to map out the next course of action. Widely known as a Pan Africanist, Dr. Tajudeen Abdul-Raheem was until his death the Deputy Director in charge of Africa for the United Nations Millennium Campaign. From his office in Nairobi, he crisscrossed the continent to fight against poverty, advocate for gender equality, and champion for environmental sustainability. Taju's aim was also to make sure that Africans could access basic education and healthcare in a fair political atmosphere.
Tajudeen is probably the most effective Pan-Africanist that I know.
Kind of person who I think you constantly hear the reverberations of laughter from, even when you don't see it.
I'm so devastated. We know he has lived many lives. Maybe that's why he didn't have time. He was always doing diverse things in his life. But still, I have never felt a loss like today.
Tajudeen hailed from Nigeria, but everybody who has ever interacted with him knows that Tajudeen is an African.
He's always the person to embrace anyone, to see potential in people and want to push them along, not in a patronizing way, but he gathers up followers, because he lives his belief, and he believed in a united Africa, and to him at a personal level that meant uniting individual Africans.
Because he died a Muslim, decisions had to be made as fast as possible. With his wife and children living in the UK and the request from his relatives to fly the body to Nigeria, arrangements had to be made in order for the burial to take place within the shortest period.
That's when they do the prayers in the Jewish.
Local Muslims were more than willing to proceed with the final rites in case the decision to fly Taju was reversed.
The post-mortem has been completed. Multiple injuries, both head and body. So you all know what happened, an accident on the road. The plan is to fly him on Ethiopian Airlines.
After the post-mortem was done and the body ready for transportation, workmates, friends and comrades bid farewell to Taju. The emotional event was followed by prayers held by leaders representing the Muslim community in Nairobi. The convoy left for the airport at around 1 p.m. local time. As Taju's body was midway between Nairobi and Lagos, His comrades and friends reconvened at a conference hall next to his office.
This is a celebration of a life well lived.
In Uganda, I never came personally in touch with him, but he used to be a weekly writer in one of the Ugandan newspapers. And I'm sure many people in Uganda will miss his articles.
The session, which comprised of workmates, students, politicians, diplomats and members from the civil society as well as non-governmental organizations, went on until late into the night.
One of the amazing things about Taju, many of you who know him well, when somebody asks him, how are you? Most of us will say, I'm okay. He says, I will be okay. I'm a hopeful African. And that kind of characterized a lot of what he was. He was okay, but never fully okay because he was too impatient, too restless to accept whatever the current situation was. He's just a really big guy with a big mind, a big heart.
Losing Tajudeen means that we've lost a huge data bank, much more than a library. For me, Taju is an icon that will never fade. He's carved an admirable place and a path for those of us who carry on the journey that he started.
It was not only to reflect on the man and his ideals, but also a forum to chart the way forward now that he has departed.
Kenya is going through a similar phase. You will overcome. All that you need is a group that is resolute. You have to be confident in yourselves as a nation. The rest of Africa respects Kenya and expects to see better things from Kenya. And I think that one of the things that Taju has done in this country is to say that Pan-Africanism as a philosophy is Pan-Africanist. It does not distinguish between countries. It does not distinguish between tribes and races. And I hope that Kenyans will get to the point where the struggle will be for one united Kenya, one Pan-African government in the region, one Pan-African government in the whole of Africa.
He sought activists in every country that he went to. I didn't know him, but he found me.